So this is going to be one of those big info dump videos, so do strap yourself in for a lot of information in this video. We'll be going over some general stuff that you need to know. There's a live stream tomorrow, when the VIP demo is going to start time-wise, pre-order information, and then we'll be looking at some brand new gameplay from other sources, showing off different javelins, showing off a Stronghold, which I'm very excited to show off, and also IGN addressing the AI issue that's been coming up quite a lot. And I also want to add my own 2 cents in there too, because a lot of people have been looking at the gameplay from Stockholm, from myself, from Arix, from Data, from whoever else, going that the game looks really easy and that the AI is pretty terrible. So I do want to address that in a bit. My name is Ryan Central. If you want more Anthem content, then do subscribe. We're also super close to 10,000 subs on YouTube, which would be amazing to hit sometime soon. I love you guys. Thank you very much for the support. But we do have a giveaway going on at the moment for a standard copy of Anthem, which will end just before the VIP demo starts. All of the details in the description below if you want to enter. Let's start with the main information. There is a live stream tomorrow. It's a Ben Irving one, and it's going to be with Emily Taylor, who is a game designer, and it will be at 3 PM Central Time. That's 1 PM Pacific, 4 PM Eastern, 9 PM GMT, and 10 PM CET. And you can find it on twitch.tv/AnthemGame. Everything is literally on screen. We don't quite know what it's going to be about yet. It's going to have a bit of a focus on weapons, but also Ben Irving said that there's going to be some to-be-announced stuff added in there too. So do expect a couple of surprises, a couple of curveballs, certainly not one to miss. So you most definitely shouldn't. We have a time that the demo is going to start on the 25th of January, next Friday. Can't wait. It's like 10 days away. It's coming by so quickly. But it will start at 11 AM Central US time. If you're trying to work out what time zone that is for you, need not worry. BSN Forums made this amazing graphic showing the time zone in your area. 9 AM Pacific, Mountain 10 AM, Eastern US. UK, lovely time, 5 PM. Get a Burger King down me and then we grind it out all night. It's not the first time I've said that. But you get the idea. You can see exactly what time it starts. Sorry, Australia, you kind of get shafted a little bit here. We also got confirmation to when it ends, which is 6 PM Pacific time on the Sunday, which would be 8 PM Central, 9 PM Eastern, 2 AM UK time, 3 AM European time. And it's the exact same for the open demo the week afterwards. And the launch will be simultaneous across all of the regions. It's also worth adding you can preload the VIP demo a couple of days early, so you will have enough time to download the game if you have bad internet. As a reminder, the demo will start from level 10 and you will play till level 15. It will have missions, access to Fort Tarsis and free play, 1 Stronghold, which I believe is the Scars of Villainy one, but I don't think that's been confirmed just yet. But there is one thing that I wanted to add here. You will have access to all 4 of the javelins, the Ranger, the Storm, the Colossus, and the Interceptor. However, you will only be able to unlock 2 of them. That was what we thought at least, but it turns out you will only be able to unlock 1 of them. Everybody will start with the Ranger during the VIP demo, and then you are able to pick one out of the Colossus, the Interceptor, or the Storm. So I wanted to ask in the comments, which one are you going to pick? Nice easy question, but we don't know whether you can make another pilot to, say the first character you have, you pick the Colossus, you make a new pilot, you pick the Storm, so on and so forth, or you can just reset your progress on the demo that you can just keep repeating it with different javelins. We don't know just yet. I will try and let you know once we confirm that. You can only unlock 2 at a time, one of which being predetermined as the Ranger. Like I said, I'm kind of sad about this. I did want to be able to play all of the javelins, but by no means is this me complaining, bitching about the game. I'm just kind of like, oh well, I'll get by. I'm going to pick the Colossus, fit guys save lives and all that, and I will be perfectly fine. Lastly, on the subject of VIP demos, I do want to go over pre-order stuff. This isn't me saying you should pre-order, but for those that did and didn't do it through the likes of Origin, say for example Amazon, you bought it through, or GameStop or Game, they will be the ones that will give you a code to access the VIP demo. Going off this Amazon one, you can see redemption codes will be dispatched by email from 24 hours prior to the pre-launch demo starting date. See below for the redemption process. So you get the code in an email, no doubt. You go to ea.com/games/anthem/anthem demos. You sign in using your EA account information. If you don't have one, make one. You enter your VIP demo code, and then you'll have access to the VIP demo site, and that will tell you how to download it on PlayStation or Xbox or PC if you don't have Origin already. So GameStop, CD keys, whatever you decide to buy the game through, they will be the one responsible for giving you your VIP demo code. But I would definitely be careful with those cheaper mass key websites, because I have seen in a couple of places that people haven't received their codes or any confirmation from them. So do bear that in mind. I don't want anybody to miss out on the VIP demo because of that. Also, for those interested, there is a collector's edition primer guide if you are interested in bits and pieces like that. I believe primer went under, so this might be one of the last guides that went out. I don't know much about it, but if you are interested, do have a look for this online if you want it. Does look pretty cool, would sit nice nicely on all of our shelves, I do think. Now I want to talk about the big concern that came out of a lot of gameplay, that being how the AI looks bad. There are two different questions going on here, I think. Is the game easy on even the harder difficulties, and is the AI bad? I can certainly answer the first question. Yes, even on hard, the game was still fairly easy to do, for the most part at least, and it does depend on the enemies that you're fighting. Also kind of relates into the AI, for example. The scar missions, you could see me sort of sweat it out a little bit, but for the most part I didn't struggle too hard. But some enemies were difficult to take down, some missions I did die a couple of times on, because you have to have a solid approach. For example, there's turrets in the back line, there's scars on the high ground, scars on the low ground. You need to decide what order you want to take stuff out in, and if you pick the wrong order, you will die. There has been a lot of cases of that, some of which I unfortunately can't show you. But also, on the subject of other animals, we have seen a little bit of the frost wolves, and these can be a bitch if you're not careful. If you get surrounded by 4 or 5 of these, they just run at you, and for certain classes like the Colossus, you might be fine, but as an interceptor where you're constantly having to sort of get away and dash out of situations, they will be over you in no time. So you do have to be careful with some of the mobs, which are more difficult than others. The gameplay that you saw from the 2 missions already from Stockholm, yes, they were fairly straightforward to do. They provided a little bit of difficulty, but for the hardest difficulty at that point in the game at least, it wasn't too tough. But with that said, I was playing on my own, so the difficulty is scaled a lot less than in comparison to if I was in a group of 2, 3 or 4, but also it was incredibly early game. Both of these missions were like from level 3 to level 5 at most. I don't know about you, but when I'm playing stuff like Diablo on a harder difficulty, the first section of the game isn't too difficult, it isn't too hard. So I wasn't looking at this going, yeah, this is really easy, this is a bit of a problem. I was hoping it was going to be a bit more difficult, and it did get harder as time went on. But I do assume once you get to level 10, 15, 20, 25, that's where the hard difficulty will start to ramp up. But don't just take my word on it. This is what Destin said from IGN, who played a lot more of the game at higher difficulties when asked about the AI and difficulty.
Enemy AI, lots of scar enemies stand around and don't react to you in gameplay, so much standing around. There were a few missions that we tried on harder difficulties and we got absolutely destroyed. They haven't locked in the difficulty for Anthem yet, they're still working on it, and when we were there for the IGN first, they definitely were considering where they were going to land there. Solid P-Huck, he said, can you talk about raids? We didn't get to experience any of their raid-like content. I think it's just missions at higher difficulty settings. We played some stuff on hard, but nothing on Elder Game settings.
I think the main thing to highlight here is that it's not locked in yet. We played a build that is literally a month old. This time last month, I was in Stockholm playing a game, you know what I mean? So a lot has changed in that time, and there's still another month to go before the actual launch. That might be fairly straightforward to do, and they might be saving it until the rest of the game is put in, right? That's when they're going to fine-tune the smaller details. But as Destin said, difficulty isn't locked in just yet, so don't panic from the gameplay that you've seen, still a work in progress. Speaking of which, Destin answered a lot of questions about his playtime with Anthem on his live stream. I will put the VOD in the description below, alongside a lot of new gameplay from other places. I wanted to do a bit of a showcase, showing off some of the new cool stuff that came out of content creators that both did the event mission I did on different javelins, but also some new gameplay from IGN. Now, IGN have been doing IGN First for Anthem throughout the whole of January, so they will have exclusives on showing stuff like Fort Tarsis, certain missions, maybe potential Stronghold. We did get some gameplay of Fort Tarsis on Monday, showing off the world, talking to people like Prospero, who is your cosmetics guy, walking around talking to characters, having discussions, learning lore story, the typical BioWare stuff. But today they released this. This is some gameplay from the recent video where they take on the mission Hidden Depths. It's 10 minutes gameplay shown from the Interceptor and Colossus perspective, and they go up against an Ash Titan right at the end of this as a main boss, and they do struggle, so it does go alongside what Destin was saying about difficulty and how they struggled in some cases. This difficulty might not even be on hard, so as I said, I don't just want to take the video clips and just play them all together, just basically take their content. If you do want to see more of this stuff, it's all in the description below. The next video I wanted to highlight comes from Jerk Video. Now, they've been showed off a lot of cool stuff to do with cosmetics, free play, lots of bits and pieces and missions, but they put out a video the other day going over a new mission, which has you protected a strider as you're trying to rebuild it, but they also showed off a stronghold called the Tyrant Mind. You can tell because the icon is purple, much like the Scars of Villainy stuff and also the livestream stronghold that we saw the other week. So we know that there's at least 3 strongholds in the game. Now the footage of this is fairly early on in this mission. I believe that they're just picking up echoes and fragments, just making their way through, but as I said, if you want to check out all of the gameplay from that stronghold mission, it is all in French, by the way. You can check it in the description below. I would recommend it. Some of the gameplay is pretty good. Nice mix of a new mission that we haven't seen anything of. Some gameplay from the Colossus and also a little bit of the Ranger. But this Tyrant Mind stronghold looks pretty fun. Last Monday, a lot of content creators from the Stockholm event put out their gameplay of the mission Preventative Precaution. I got some Interceptor gameplay playing the sniper rifle. It was pretty good. It wasn't the best build that I could have ran as the Interceptor, but it wasn't bad. I know it's a bit counterintuitive when you have this melee build, but it was nice to see that your weapons can dictate certain playstyles. You know, this is still very early game. With that said, if you wanted to see gameplay of the Storm, Colossus and Ranger, these are the guys you should definitely watch. For the Colossus, Arix has you covered with some amazing gameplay from that mission. Willis Gaming and Kakis got some gameplay of the Storm, which you can check out below. And also Max MRM, who is a Brazilian Portuguese speaking YouTuber, got some gameplay of the Ranger. And as people rightly highlighted on the subreddit, he's a pretty damn good player. If you want to see a good example of a player hitting his shots using his abilities in the right way and having a certain flair style of doing it all together, then definitely check out this gameplay below. Max MRM, really cool guy. I actually can't wait to see how he plays the rest of this once you start pushing out from the early game to do free play stuff. So I will definitely be keeping an eye on him. Lastly, of all the content, I wanted to shout out Mtash, who is a great Destiny streamer. I really like his PvP stuff. Has been playing the game quite a lot. For the most part, us game changers got to play Anthem for a day in Stockholm. At least I only got like 6-7 hours. Mtash managed to play 60 as he spent a good week at the offices trying out and playing the game. So he's been releasing videos giving his impressions, talking about what he can talk about at the moment, saying that there's more still to come. So if you want to hear from a player that's played 60 plus hours of the game already, Mtash is definitely your man. Really cool guy, so definitely check him out, as well as all of the people I've mentioned below. As I said, there's a lot of gameplay. I don't just want to take it and be like, oh, here's some Stronghold gameplay, not crediting the source. Go watch all of these guys. They have some really cool stuff, and at the end of the day, I'm as much of a fan of Anthem as you are, so I want to show some cool stuff, even if it's not my own. With that said, that's everything I wanted to go over in today's video. I hope you enjoyed the brief information dump, but a lot of gameplay that you can certainly sink your teeth into. There will be more gameplay from Stockholm coming up fairly soon. The VIP demo, of course, is just around the corner, and there might be some other special bits and pieces down the line as well, so can't wait for you to see that. Be sure to subscribe if you want more Anthem content and enter the giveaway if you want a chance of winning. And I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. We'll see you there.